Hi, I hope everybody's day has been great so far. Today I have some weekly spread ideas and how you can suit your weekly spread to your life. Hi, so I'm honestly so glad that you guys are being able to see this clip because I freaked out and I thought I didn't hit record because for some reason when I checked my phone it wasn't recording, and I'm so glad it was because I went back on my phone when I was exporting these clips and I saw that it was here. I'm so thankful. So the first thing you should do when you're trying to make a weekly spread that would be perfect for your life is think about what you want to plan. This could be tasks, plans/events, and ideas. And when you're planning it out, you want to think about what kind of space you want to be able to plan these things. So the first spread example is actually a pretty simple one where each box is basically a day and you just fill in tasks and events that happened in that day. This spread is nice because you can basically put whatever you want in those boxes and whatever you feel fits for that week. I would suggest this spread for people who are just starting bullet journaling and not really sure what they would be planning in their bullet journal and what they'd like. So the next bullet journal spread was one of my favorites until we started remote learning because I found it didn't really fit what I needed as much anymore. But I think it's a really nice spread and a spread I'd likely still be using if quarantine didn't happen. In all of the spreads I'm going to be showing you, I only used one page in my bullet journal, but you can obviously switch it to be on 2 pages, but that is also why I flipped it horizontally. So as you can see, I'm sketching out 5 boxes, which are each 7 dot grids wide, and on the edge of my bullet journal there are 3 empty dot grids, which I'm going to label the week number. Also, I use the full length of my bullet journal so I could have the most space. So going down from the top, I'm counting down 7 dot grids, so it's a square, and I'm just making a line across, and that's going to be somewhere where I can plan all my events or things that are happening that day. On the other section, I'm going to plan out like tasks and things that I have to do. So this is actually where my phone deceived me and I thought it stopped recording. So as you can see, it was a lot of stuff that I did. But anyway, how I would use these spreads is I would write a bullet point of things that I have to do and I can cross them off, and something I like to do is cross it off and then at the end add an arrow if you need to do something the next day. I also used to do it where if I had a task that was over 2 days, the first day it would be in all lowercase that I had to do it, and the next day, when it was due the next day, I would put in all caps so I would know I have to do that now. Okay, so on to our third weekly spread for today. This has been by far my favorite spread to use during quarantine because, at least in my school, the amount of lessons I have has been really predictable, so I can pretty much make a checkbox of the lessons that I know I'll have to do. So how I make this mini little clipboard is I make a big box that is half my bullet journal wide, so mine is actually 12 boxes horizontally. And if you're not sure how many boxes you'll need when you're sketching it out, I would recommend you just leave the bottom open, and once you fill in the inside, you can fill in the number of boxes you need and figure out how long you need it. The little clip part of the clipboard might seem a little bit daunting to make, and it's kind of hard to explain verbally, but you make like a little bump in the middle and then you put it to both sides, like the other part, and you leave 2 dots on either side where you can add the paper inside. Just look at it closely and you should be able to figure it out. You can also add a little circle in the clipboard to represent the whole, which I think just brings the doodle up a notch. So now I'm adding a sidebar where I can add events that are happening during that week. This one has 7 days, so it's great, so I can plan every single day, including the weekend. And you can mix and match all of these parts of these spreads. For example, if you wanted a sidebar with all the days of the week, you could add that next to anything you feel would fit your week. And that's why I love bullet journaling so much, because it can handle so many different lifestyles, and as you change, so as your schedule changes, your weekly spreads can change, and whatever you end up needing, you can just switch to do that. So now I'm adding some boxes inside the clipboard, which is why I'm saying this is maybe more suitable for a static schedule where it generally stays the same from week to week, or you know pretty much what you'll have to do during the week, because you can check them off one by one and make these boxes beforehand and just, for me, list out the lessons that I have to do. Although you could do this clipboard sketch as anything, you could put a normal to-do list inside it. I just think it's fun to do those little check boxes. Now this next spread took me a little while to get right with my pencil, because I decided to be really creative and just say creative spreads and just doodle heavy spreads. This spread is actually inspired by my 2019 January bullet journal spread, which I would consider my first official bullet journal spread, and I actually found this video of me doing it, and I'll insert a clip here so we can watch that while I figure out this pencil sketch. So this was my 2019 bullet journal for the first half of 2019, because I ended up switching to a Lecturum 1917 because I didn't want to have the spiral parts. But if you want to see a flip through of my old bullet journal, just comment down below. Now I'll let my 2019 self talk. This is my sleep, how much I sleep. Those are the weekends, and this is a 3-day weekend. This was last week's weekly setup. I basically did mountains and so basically for this weekly spread, I drew inspo from these weekly spreads where I used mountains and clouds to represent where I would do my tasks. So that's the dates, and this is other clouds. I might put a word in there. I think that's what I have so far. So I actually did more in my 2019 bullet journal than I showed you in 2019. Can you believe it? Wow, I actually did my bullet journal. So now we have a 2020 clip of me with my 2019 bullet journal. As you can see, I wrote 2019 bullet journal on the front. So let's just skip to where we are in my bullet journal, because I didn't know that I had that clip. So we'll just skip to there now. It's kind of funny that I'm doing right now for January a blue, somewhat mountainous theme, even though it's more sci-fi and futuristic, because back then I did do a mountain theme. So as I told you before, I did use this spread a lot, even though it is kind of different than the one from before, because I did use it to jot down things that happened during the day, kind of like a journal entry, as well as a place where I could write down all the schoolwork I had. Alright, so now let's return to my old bullet journal. So at the top, I added 3 mountains, which would represent Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. And I outlined this with my twin tone Tombow gray marker. I didn't use that many pens in this video, but the black felt tip pen is a Stabilo pen, and the markers you're seeing me use right now are Crayola Super Tips. So I'm using the cloud to divide up the mountain and also separate the days. And I'll probably just use these clouds to mark events and things that are happening. And this honestly shows that you can make a bullet journal spread that's perfect for you in a really creative way. And this spread reminds me of the first and second spread we made in these videos, because you can use it however you want, and it really shows that it's not the spread that you have, but how you use the spread. So now I'm just writing some tasks and events into the spread. And now thinking back, it'll probably be pretty confusing for me to see all these random things in my bullet journal weekly spreads, but that's great. So these are the weekly spreads I made today. If you liked any of these, it would mean the world to me if you were to like and even subscribe to my channel. I hope you enjoyed looking at these spreads and maybe you are inspired by any. I'd love to know in the comment section below. And bye!